Well, hello, it's me, James. Sorry if I seem startled. The last 2 days, I haven't been able to get my webcam to work. So, talking to you via this message was a challenge. And it's stretched me a little bit. I'm James, and I want to begin by reminding you of something I believe to be absolutely true and absolutely maybe the core message of all the gospel and certainly as I understand it, and that is you are infinitely precious and unconditionally loved as the gift you are. So is everybody and everything else. And if we could each come to recognize our own preciousness, we wouldn't need to compare ourselves with each other. If we realized we were loved without condition, we wouldn't worry about if what we did or said was ending a relationship or would impact our lives because we could be the people we were meant to be, the gifts that we really are. So, as I mentioned, I've been having trouble with my webcam. I can't tell you why. And suddenly it's working again right now. And so I'm going to start by being thankful, though that's not what I'm here to talk about today, and sharing a bit of gratitude that the system is working. For whatever reason, it wasn't, doesn't matter, because now it is. So here we are, and I'm realizing my limits. I spent about 2 hours playing with the webcam on Tuesday morning with an attempt to get it going. In fact, it kind of threw me off my game so much that I barely got out the door in time to teach my class about healthy relationships. So some of the prep I would have done didn't get done. And I decided that the thing to do in my healthy relationships class was to talk about the challenge I was having, which was having a bad day. And sometimes we just do. Yes, I'm feeling just a little bit all over the place right now. But what it helped me really see on Tuesday and Wednesday and be reminded of, and what this season that leads up to Easter, the Lenten season, is an invitation to do, is to look at our own mortality, our own limitations. And sometimes our limitations are placed on us by things outside of us. Outside of us. Someone says we can't do that, we can't get the job we want, we can't get this thing that we thought we needed to have or wanted to have. Some piece of who we are is not recognized, and it happens from outside of us. But I want to talk to you about something I think that's very important that I have to practice a little bit more in my own life, and that's the practice of self-limitation. Recognizing that there are moments when you simply cannot do all the things that are possible in front of you. And the only way to do any one of them and really be present for it and enjoy it is to say no to the things that we should be saying no to. How many of us have seen those comedies, those clever comedies? The first one that came to my mind was Mrs. Doubtfire, where somebody tries to be in two places at once, changing clothes and moving from one side of a restaurant to another or some other place because they're not in either place fully. And if we ever hope to truly experience this life, to be a part of what God wants to do in each one of us, we have to be willing to say no to the things that we simply can't do. We have to be willing to recognize we are limited beings. And rather than see that as a negative, we can see that as a positive, as a gift. If I don't have to try to be what everybody else is trying to be, and instead seek only to be who I'm meant to be, who I was made to be, the gift that I am as me, it certainly frees me up. It sounds like it's limiting until you think about the fact that being able to focus in on that which is most important in your life, your priority, is vital. And so in this season, I want to invite you, as I've been inviting myself, to do the exact same thing, which is to really kind of take stock of the things you are saying yes to in your life, that you are giving into because you feel like that would make someone else happy, or that it would look good on your resume, or any of those kinds of things. I'm not saying don't say yes to some things that would make somebody else happy, because I think that sometimes we need to do that. But sometimes we let our lives be trying to make everyone else happy at the expense of being who we really are. So I'm inviting you to look at what's happening in your life, the things you put on your schedule, the way you spend your time, the way you spend your money, all of those kinds of things, and realize that perhaps the best choice for you would be to recognize your limits. If you need a model, just look at the life of Jesus. Jesus would rise early and go off by himself and use space. Jesus, we see, gets tired after spending a day with crowds and withdraws to be with his disciples. And in one of my favorite biblical stories, not my favorite, but one of my favorite biblical stories, when Jesus sits down at the well in Samaria and has a conversation with the woman that he meets there, he is sitting there because he's tired and he needs to rest. And now an encounter happens out of it, but Jesus even recognizes his own limits. This body of ours has limits. Our time has limits. As long as we're in this form, there are only 24 hours in a day, at least according to our construct of time here. And those 24 hours is all we have. We need to fit in sleeping. We need to rest. We need to engage. We need to nourish ourselves and exercise. We need to do all those pieces. And sometimes doing the pieces that need doing requires me to say no to some of the things that maybe even I want to do. Sometimes we say yes to the things we want to do because that's a healthy thing to do. But if we find ourselves saying yes to everything, we will find what we are really doing is saying no, because we can't stretch ourselves that far. So, my friends, and people who watch, people who are infinitely precious and unconditionally loved for the gift you already are, I want you to think of what gift you bring to this beautiful world in which we are a part, and how best to guard the nature of that gift and to invest the nature of that gift by not trying to do all the other non-gifty things that aren't yours to do. Sometimes you'll have to. Sometimes it'll be necessary. But perhaps not as often as we end up saying yes. Perhaps there are some things you can say no to. And by saying no, be able to invest more of yourself in the thing you love, the thing you're called to, the thing you're wired for, to your giftedness. But never forget, even if you're not fully using that gift, that you are infinitely precious already. You are unconditionally loved already. And you are a gift already. Don't have to do anything to be that. So until the next time, look for the ways that you might limit the excesses in your life by saying no to some things that might distract you from being the person you're meant to be. I hope for you the best in this coming week, and I will see you the next time.